Say have fun in your podcast. Say I love you.
So, with the shutdown happen, I know Joe's more, he keeps his ear to the streets on these. So how many days has it been now, Joe, since the shutdown happened?
Blackjack, baby, 21.
Woo! I think, was it the last time that we were on?
I don't think it was last time, but the last regular.
Well, the last time. Well, matter of fact, we talked about it last time we were on.
It had happened in the middle of it wasn't the award show. It was the time before that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So right in the middle of the episode, I think the clock struck 11 Eastern time or something like that,
I flooded the chat group with the man. Fuck this nigga, because Moy was talking about she might not get paid.
Yeah.
So we have this, so he had so we know the government is shut down. It's a partial shutdown. Some agencies are being affected, mainly Department of Homeland and the sub agencies that basically go underneath that. We are, as of right now.
But also add TSA in there, and it'll make sense, because your boy going to New York next week. Hey, I want all my niggas on the pod. I'm an atheist, but I want all my niggas on the podcast to pray for me. I need all that. I need all that good juju, because they just letting everybody get on the plane, nigga.
Yeah, but you're good though. You going from Kansas City there, but maybe on your trip back, that might be the scarier part. Because Kansas City is contracted out. They contracted out that to a security agency.
Okay.
On the way back, maybe depending on what airport you fly.
I ain't heard about LGA, nigga. They talking about like 2-3 hours before they get through security, nigga.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I think TSA does fall under the Department of Homeland. I know they were talking about several.
Because remember they made that shift with the TSA and the Coast Guard all went to Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah. And so the Coast Guard, we have the pay station here for the Coast Guard is in Topeka, Kansas. So all the pay is processed here, and so some of those people are not going to get paid, or some of them have already been furloughed, and some of them are working for free. Some Customs and Border Patrol agents have been affected by this. I think the number right now, it's over 800 federal employees, not including contractors, not including private contractors. These are just federal employees that are missed their first paycheck today. So, and Tang 45 here is throwing up fits, calling in meetings, calling in senators and representatives to come and sit down, and then walking out when he already knows they're not going to give you this wall, and so he's putting up a lot of these just for show, gimmicks. He goes down to the border to visit the border, gets a couple, walks around or whatever, gets a tour, and then gets presentation by Border Patrol agents that tell him not only about the wall, but on the fencing, but they point out the tunnels underneath the fencing. So what do you do for a wall? So I seen that meme going around. It's just unfortunate that he's using this last power as hostage. He's just holding the government hostage to get what he wants, a monument that he could say and point at, yo, that's my wall. So Eagles are being.
Nah, he's a white piece of shit, dog.
He is.
That's it, dog.
Okay.
Joe, anything you could add to our illustrious words?
He's white piece of shit, dog. He's white piece of shit. I don't know what I'm supposed to say about this motherfucker, dog. And let's not forget, like, we got friends of the show, my brother, Damon, and hopefully we can get him on here one day. It's talked about as far as like how these motherfuckers in the background trying to break up all these unions, man. Whether it be teachers unions, UWA, UAW, what the fuck, man. But like how like GM affects my brother. The plant here in Kansas City, they all good, but you can see how slowly but surely all these other plants, like in Canada, and there's a couple of small plants up north that are like closing down or whatever. It's going to start affecting like all these operations that made not America great, but gave working class individuals a way to be middle class, are slowly but surely getting fucked with and shut down, man. But like people don't care. Like people don't care. But why should they care when the very same motherfuckers who were part of these unions, and Damon can speak to it. The very same motherfuckers who are in these unions are the very same motherfuckers who voted for him.
Right. Yeah. But now it affects them directly. So now they're like, whoa.
Yeah. It's like you know this nigga's big business. You know this nigga's big business. Why in the fuck would he ever be pro-union?
Right.
Never.
And let me say this. So he mentioned a reporter from CNN. They tell him about, you could end this shutdown that you actually essentially did it, and you could put back the money, retroactively pay back, reimburse the paychecks or whatever for the employees. But he was like, and then he said something about that. What do you tell the person that's living paycheck to paycheck that they can't pay the rent? What do you tell them? He's like, I would tell them to go talk to their landlord. I'm just paraphrasing, and see if you could work things out. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh well, will you entice people, landlords around the nation, and put some type of provision to help with that? And he's like, and he didn't answer yes or no, but he just kind of kept saying like, I would do it as a landlord.
Well, the situation he's dealing with is this is the last bit of leverage he has to get this campaign promise done, because he knows it's not going to go down with the Democratic House going forward. So he knows that if he's going to get this done, which he should have probably gotten this done 2 years ago,
right,
when he had Republicans in the House and Senate. You know what I'm saying? But he waited to this late date. I think he whined about he was promised that they would happen in a further deal, and it didn't happen. So he was like, this I'm standing my ground right here. But I think something's being missed here. What we're missing here is, I think we're placing all the blame at Donald Trump's feet, and he deserves the lion's share. But what about Mitch McConnell? Nobody wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about.
No, we talk about them. We on this podcast we've been verbal. I'm on record saying I think they got something on McConnell and they got something on Lindsey Graham. I swear those baby tapes are there. Just like the piss test is that Trump has supposedly, and I think it exists.
All right. Beyond all the conspiracy stuff, man. I mean, I feel you on that, but let's talk concrete things. I'm saying to you that Mitch McConnell is playing the party line, okay?
But that's the role he's there for.
But Republicans do it all the time, though, Joe.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying to you, no. The bill. Let me get it out. So this bill passed 100-0 in the Senate. The bill passed 100-0. That meant 52, I believe, Republican senators voted for this bill. And it was only once that it passed the Senate that Donald Trump reneged on his agreement and said, no, I'm not going to agree to this. They have tried to fragment this bill up and to allow segments of the government to reopen. And again, Donald Trump said he's not going to sign that because he would be giving up his leverage. But McConnell still could bring that to the floor. I mean, there are bills that are passed in the House that are fragments of the bill that the senators passed 100-0, and he refuses to bring those up on the floor because it would embarrass the president. My stance is, if you are a separate branch of government,
Right.
regardless of party, and you know this shutdown is not ethical, and we know the wall is not something that is.
It's also unethical.
Let's get away from unethical.
Right.
It's a monument to racism. It definitely is. But let's take that out of the equation because we already did have fencing down on the Mexican border. Okay.
Correct.
There was fencing on the Mexican border under Obama. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's take that out of the equation. I'm saying to you, let's just say that it is not feasible. Like, it's not a good, sound investment of the money. If you're talking about conservatism, you want to spend your money in ways that are going to be effective. You don't want to spend your money on boondoggles. I think James called it the reincarnation of the bridge to nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Correct.
And so what I'm suggesting to you is that if you are standing for conservatism, and this wall is not going to be financially, a good investment of $5 billion. Why don't you bring this to the floor? Now you're going to embarrass your president, and he's going to be mad. But guess what? You're in a whole separate branch, and he doesn't decide whether or not you're going to be the majority leader, and he doesn't decide whether or not you're going to get reelected in Kentucky.
Right.
McConnell, why don't you bring this to the floor and allow Donald Trump to use his power of veto? And then if he uses his power of veto, and you feel as a member of another separate and sovereign branch of government that the president is wrong, then you can do this thing. It's called override the veto.
Right, but remember
but
this.
He refuses He refuses to bring it up at all, and even test the theory that they could move on without the president. He's the president's lapdog. And
I feel you.
Yeah.
So we can't just put this on Donald Trump. McConnell refuses to bring these things even to the floor.
Right, but this particular branch of government, they showed proof their ass back with Obama when they tried to get a hot flame in their ass and to fund the motherfucking ACA.
Yeah.
Right.
So
he has shown the willingness to go against the president.
Right.
He won't do it. He won't do it when the president's of his own party.
But you know why though?
He has shown the will to go against a black or brown president who's a Democrat.
Right, but you know why though too? I think, and this has to play a factor into this. He's up for election in 2020.
Who?
McConnell is. McConnell's up for election in 2020.
Well, they both are. So
okay. So let's talk about that then. So he's up for re-election.
But it goes back to what you were saying, Joe. Yeah.
No, break. No. I got some new ground. So he's up for re-election in Kentucky. Okay,
right. Kentucky.
Something I just watched today, and I didn't. It's funny to me sometimes that we live in Kansas City, and there's some certain things I take for granted that are not, pervasive. There are 5 IRS processing stations, and James used to work for one. His other brother, works for it also. So in Kansas City.
Hey Joe, I used to be a security guard at one. I knew James.
Okay, yeah. Right. So I didn't realize that was one of only 5 in the country. Okay. Yeah. So basically, you've got like maybe 6,000 people in Kansas City who work for IRS that are not able to work right now because of this. When he went down to Texas to go check out the border wall, he is in another state that has an IRS processing center. You got people who are out of probably maybe the biggest, right? And then, but there are 5 of them. Guess where another one is? In Kentucky.
District.
In Kentucky, in the state in which Mitch McConnell will be running. So here's my thing. If McConnell does what he can to reopen the government and put Kentuckians back to work, I understand it might be a minus for some people if he goes against the president and he exposes the president and submits him to have to veto something. But at the same time, if he is actively fighting to put Kentuckians back to work, and to be real talk, I mean, sure, he's going to be 80 something by the time this comes. Maybe it's time for him to go ahead and say, "Hey, this is something I'm willing to stand for."
But even in that simple, no, it's not. Goddamn it, I won't say simple. Okay, that's loaded. Even in like a very good assessment of it all, like we're not excluding racism and like people just saying to give Donald what he wants. Because like I've had we talk about separation and how even in government with soldiers, separation of soldiers should not support a president. I've had like my last commander in my unit was just like, why won't the fucking Democrats just give the president what he wants? I've had this conversation with a command, and thank goodness it's a very small unit. Thank goodness we're not at a divisional or a brigade, like this fucking divisional level where like I actually have a command of a lot of troops. But like here we are at this very small level, and all I'm thinking is there are more white men with the same rank as you who hold the same belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to answer your question, I think that's what Mitch McConnell is like answering to, like this small contingent of powerful white men or women also who hold some authority over people who may not agree or may not understand that what you're agreeing to affects you, which is also a thing that happens also, and that's what's happening right now. It's like it's very like everything you said is beautiful. It's to the point, but it's very scary that a lot of people don't understand the people they're putting in power to make decisions for them are also fucking with their paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think I did hear that because McConnell, even up to yesterday, the House of Representatives passed the bill, right? They pushed it through, and it goes up to the Senate, and then obviously the Senate reviews.
It was all about back pay, though, wasn't it?
No, I mean they were just like how he was saying, like basically the original bill that they had, that it didn't even come up to vote because McConnell he blocked it basically because he knew that the president wouldn't support it. So basically they're working out fragments of it, now.
And then this motherfucker, and then he left like today or yesterday, right, to go back home, right?
Yeah, McConnell, he left, but even up to yesterday, they had even Lindsey Graham. That's what I know. He made some fucking problematic fucking comments to the president to tell him to go ahead and invoke the national security emergency for whatever, but because McConnell blocked that, it wouldn't even come up to a vote in the Senate. The Senate wouldn't even he wouldn't even let them consider it. And he basically, and it's something that other Republicans have been working, one like Lindsey Graham and even Mike Pence, they've been working behind, not behind closed door, but, like off to the side and gathering support for. His own party is working, his own little fucking clan is helping him. And McConnell's like, yo, I'm not going to bring up anything to vote if I know the president's not going to support it. And the president's already said he's not supporting this without a wall. So he ain't sticking to that. And I think he's sticking to that shit more because he's trying to be in the good graces of the president.
And
then I think he's on election. He's on election year.
From the investigation.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the reason, or that I was trying to get to, was the distraction from the investigation. Because I really do think that if you just put attention or foci on, different aspects of this government or what this shutdown is doing, it's kind of deterring away from his allegations and from his investigations. So, in a nutshell, I think you guys make valid points, as far as Mitch McConnell and everything, but I really do think it's a distraction from the investigations and the allegations concerning the president.
I think like Frank or it wasn't me, but I know it was either Frank, Joe, or James brought up very clearly, if he wanted to push this funding through, he could have done it before the House flipped. Very easily. All this could have went through easily. But he knew or had to have known what was coming down the pipeline. And it's like, okay, when all this Mueller shit hit, we shutting the government down, and I will create another fake crisis. So once again, you ain't gotta worry about me.
Right.
Because what's not in the headlines right now is the investigation.
The investigation is not in the headlines.
But going back to Joe's
point,
initial point, I think McConnell deserves some initial blame, and I think Lindsey Graham. I'll throw Lindsey Graham another one under that.
My bad, Frank. Go ahead. My bad.
I would also add Lindsey Graham to that pot. That I mean, while Trump is the main figure, I would say throw Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell as accomplices to this shit.
I feel what you're saying about Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham's been taking it in the ass for the last few years. I don't know what that's all about, but
hold on, that's just speculation at this point. There's no.
It's not speculation. He likes taking it in the ass.
Yeah, that's unless you know for a fact.
Hypothetically speaking.
Okay.
Hypothetically. I'm saying Mitch McConnell is at the position that he could force the situation. Vote. He could force a vote. He could put this on the president's table and make the president do more than give us rhetoric. The president would have to take action. The president hasn't had to do anything yet. The president is all he's doing is flapping his gums.
Right.
If Mitch McConnell would pass something and put it on the doggone president's desk and allow the president to either sign it or veto it, and then we have it on record that the president vetoed people getting a chance to get their pay done. And then if the Senate and the House of Representatives were to say, hey, you know what, this is important enough, we need to put Americans back to work, and we don't feel like this wall is a useful use of government funds,
right?
We can then explore the idea of a veto override.
No, but
because the bill originally passed 100 to nothing.
Damn.
But
100 to nothing.
I hear what you're saying. Joe. But I think once again it's like, but we're saying the same thing. I think
he's falling in line with the president. I mean, that's
even
though he shouldn't
Mitch
be.
Mitch is in league with the president, but also I think it's like we gotta. Mitch is in league as far as like creating the crime. Well, that goes. You know what? Never mind.
So
that goes to conspiracy theory.
So Joe, is Mitch McConnell or is the speaker and what's the Senator majority leader? Is that what it is?
Senate majority leader.
So is the speaker and the Senate majority leader, do they work for the for the president? I thought they were separate branches.
They
are, but he's acting like
they're supposed to be. I mean, it's all branches are supposed to be separate,
right?
And not owed to the president. Yeah,
right. Okay. So is that what you're saying, Joe? Kind of hinting at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. If John McCain was still alive, he would definitely be stating this right now. John McCain would definitely be all over this, and he would be like, "Yo, we are not the president's lackeys. We are a separate branch of government. It is incumbent upon us to do what's best for our constituency." You know what I'm saying? So if we feel like this is not a conservative use of money, and however you feel about border security, I think the Democrats have stated over and over, we are for border security. We're not for open borders. You know what I'm saying? We as a sovereign nation have to maintain our borders. They just don't feel like this is the method that is going to be that's going to bear fruit.
Right, and you're putting an inanimate object to do the job better than the people that you put out there. The Customs and Border Patrol.
Trump is an inanimate object.
So I mean, and this is how I think is bullshit that Trump says like, oh, I got the same Border Patrol agents are the ones supporting this. That wall essentially is going to do their job supposedly more efficiently. You're telling them that they're down there doing nothing. being ineffective. So I don't know. I mean, you're right though. Looking at it right now, thinking about it, the speaker and the majority, Senate Majority Leader, they are a separate branch, but right now they are acting like their boss is the president. So,
their boss should be the American people.
Right. They should be, and it is, but at least McConnell in this end, because we know where Speaker Pelosi stands on this. And I'll say this. My final thought. We'll go around the table. Final thought on the shutdown. I'll say this. You can't give him the wall right now. Not at this point. You can't give in to that wall funding. Not even a fucking penny, bro. Because he's gonna throw this shit, and even if it is a penny, he's still counted as a victory. So you can't give him that. You can't give him an inch right now. So we're here now. It's unfortunate, but I hope I know Speaker Pelosi and Minority Leader Schumer. Hopefully, they stand firm, and hopefully give Mueller some time to keep dropping bombs on this dude.
I disagree, man. I think there needs to be compromise in the government, man. If you're saying to me that you can't give him a penny, you're doing the exact same thing that Trump is doing. You're taking a hard line, and you're not willing to accept anything less than what you have stated. I mean, it's been stated, elections have consequences, and I know that we've had another election since then, but Trump got elected on the idea of building the wall. So I'm not going to go hard line and say we're not going to do this, because there are real lives that are in the balance because of it. Our national security is at stake because of it, because there are people who, like you said, at TSA, who are taking days off work and causing hardship.
But you also said you don't support the wall.
He could open the government back up and get him paid.
I don't. You can go back in the tape. I don't remember me saying that.
You said it was a waste of dollars, a waste of resources.
I'm saying it's a waste of resources, but I'm also saying I'm not. There's a difference between me saying it's a waste of resources and saying I'm not going to spend one penny on it.
I
feel what you're saying though, but
the Democrats.
Hold on, Frank.
No, I'm not having it both ways. I'm saying that there should be an open negotiation, and I'm saying both sides in the situation are not willing to negotiate, and that is not the way to move forward.
Because the president already said, I'm not going to negotiate.
Right. That's what he said.
So did the Democrats. The Democrats have said, hey, I'm not going to spend one penny. Just like Frank said, Pelosi and Schumer were like, we're not going to give him one penny for this wall.
Right. Because
what I'm saying, when both sides are going into the negotiation like that, that is not that's not a situation for practice. That's not a situation for people meeting and doing what's best for the nation.
But on this podcast, though, we also said that Democrats also tend to bend the knee when it comes to Republicans.
Right.
I didn't say bend the knee. I said negotiate.
Right. And they've already provided.
I didn't say you said, but I also said that we said on this podcast that Democrats tend to bend the knee when it comes to Republicans.
What I'm saying to you is this. If the president wants his money, give me something I want.
Right.
You want $5 billion for the fine. We'll give you, because let's be real.
But
$5 billion.
No, we already talked about it. It's a drop. It's a drop in the bucket.
Is a drop in the bucket. Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm saying to you is, if we're gonna sit here and be really upset about $5 billion going to walls, when there's already walls on the federal border, on the U.S.-Mexico border, there's already walls there.
Fencing.
So to give him $5 billion to work towards increasing the length of this wall, fine. I don't think it's worth people losing their livelihood over. I don't think it's worth people going into debt over. I don't think it's worth people, losing, benefits such as being able to get food stamps and that type of thing over. What I'm saying to you is, let me get something that I want in return. So maybe we need to re-examine the Dreamer situation. Maybe we need a I mean, I don't know what the situation is.
But he already said he wouldn't do
Let me
that.
get some quid pro quo.
Well, he's already tried. You said the Dreamer situation, but he already tried to cancel that out, though.
Yeah, he already can't. He said that he's not going to do DACA.
Bring it back to the table then.
No, I heard you saying if that's the thing is feasible, then of course it's a great thing. But that was also something he tried to cancel out before even the wall shit.
Yeah, and the thing about it is he's using the wall to hold the shutdown hostage.
No, but
because
I do agree. You can't come to a table. I do agree with Joe. You can't come to the table saying, "Well, fuck you and fuck me." Then there'll be no movement.
Right.
But I don't know what the middle ground is with this motherfucker. That's all I'm saying.
But they've already, even his own party's already proposed several proposals. They already put several proposals on there. One that funds the wall at $1.5 million. Another one that funds it at like 2.1. But he's hardline on the 5.7 billion. And I think the last one that Mitch McConnell didn't want to take up for a vote, which was yesterday or Wednesday evening, was one that allowed the government to reopen, fund the wall. I think I got 1.5 billion, right, and then go back and negotiate the remaining. And I think that's why Lindsey Graham and even Mike Pence was behind it.
That doesn't make sense from Trump's side. That doesn't make sense at all from Trump's side.
Right, but you just asked for a middle ground.
Frank. That's not middle ground for him. That is still.
So then, how are we going to negotiate with somebody that doesn't want to negotiate?
I'm telling you, Frank, you got to listen, Frank. I'm saying to you, he's not going to do that. He's not going to parcel it out in pieces because there's urgency right now.
No, he got 1.7 billion last year, and he hasn't used that up yet.
Frank, I'm saying to you, he is not going to break it up and parcel it out the way the Congress is trying to write these bills now. Because if he opens up a part of the government and puts people back to work who have nothing to do with border security, he is losing leverage. He is not going to give up his leverage because that is what's going to get him what he wants.
Therefore, he's not going to negotiate.
Right, but I'm saying, but you're saying negotiate though.
There's a difference between negotiate and money. You don't have to negotiate with only money. If you're saying $5 billion and you saying I'm gonna give you 3.5, so let me say this: you say your kid says to you, "I want to buy a pair of Jordans. I need $200. Well, I give you $100. Well, that's not going to buy the pair of Jordans.
But it's going to bring you to the talking table.
That's the middle ground,
guys. That's the middle
ground. You can yell, say my guys. But the thing is, though, I can't give you everything, though, nigga.
Let me get it. Let me get out. I'm saying to you, there are other things to negotiate with other than money. If you say you negotiate and he won't take the middle ground on money, that doesn't get something for your $5 billion. I'm saying take your $5 billion and purchase what you want. If you're saying to me,
but he hasn't said what he wants outside of the $5 billion.
But
he wants the wall. I'm saying the Democrats.
But all he wants is
the wall. Say this is what we want for $5 billion. You get your $5 billion, fine. You want your $5 billion, bet you can have it if you give us this, and it's going to hurt.
But he already said no.
And I don't have. So say something else then. And then if he does, then here's your leverage.
But we go back to what I'm saying when my commander said, just give him what he wants. And that's what usually happens with Democrats.
Right.
We end up giving Republicans what they want.
Like, give him what he wants and get what you want.
Okay, but I think
what I'm saying is, though, but what happens is we never get what we want. That's what happens with Democrats.
This is what I'm saying to you. You need to go to the table ready to do that.
I feel you.
But the Democrats have all the leverage, I think.
Democrats never
they have no backbone.
I don't know whatever happens. I'm saying what needs to happen. I'm saying they need to go to the president and say, if you want 5.7, give me 5.7.
I hear what you have said.
I want what I want. If you want your wall, give me this, and I will accept nothing else.
But that's what he's saying.
But when we go to the table, and we say I'm not going to give you a penny, that's not negotiating.
I said it too, though, right?
That's a Mexican. Speaking of the Mexican wall, that's a Mexican standoff.
Joe, I've already said I agree with you, but I'm saying is Democrats tend to acquiesce and say, "Okay, here we go." That's it. I agree with you. I'm saying, but what I'm saying is you're dealing with a fucking egomaniac.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I get like all rules off the table. He wrote a fucking bullshit book about the art of negotiating, but for some odd reason, he can't negotiate.
No.
No doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt. So what I'm saying to you is, come to the table with the same type of energy.
No,
they are.
No. I think we're all agreeing. I think it's very poor. It's very poor to say fuck you, fuck me. Let's negotiate. Yeah, it's very poor. It's very poor. You can't come to the table with that. But if you come to the table with a man that says, "Well, fuck you off top, and I'll shut this bitch down whenever, but however," what's the negotiation?
What Trump claimed and what the leadership on the Democratic side did not deny was that he asked, as a matter of fact, they said it themselves. He asked, are you going to give me 5.7 for the wall? They said no, and he said bye-bye.
Right.
I'm saying to you, he is wrong for saying bye-bye. He is leaving the table. But you know what? That is a negotiating tactic, walking away from a deal.
But you also know what a negotiation. But not giving into your first demand.
Hold on, Frank. Let me say. Hold on, Frank. Hold on.
You go to a car dealership and they got a price that you're not willing to pay. At some point, you have to walk away from that deal. That is a negotiating tactic, okay? But what I'm saying to you is, when the Democrats go in there and say, "No, we're not going to give you your money," then that right there is the same. That's not negotiating.
That's
what I'm saying. Hold on. I'm saying is though, but the same thing you said though. If I went to the very thing like 2 years ago, trying to get my car I have now. You come to me and say, "I want 15,000," and I'm like, "I'm not giving you 15,000." We saying the same thing, right? So we both back away. We both back.
I'm not going to give you 15,000 versus I'm not going to give you a cent is two different things. You're not walking into the car dealership and saying, "Give me a car," and I'm not going to give you.
But mine was hyperbole.
But hold on, Frank. But he's saying, unless you give me 15,000, I ain't giving you shit. It's the same difference, right?
Yeah. Because the Democrats already gave him partial of it. They gave him partial last year, which is money he hasn't spent yet.
Hold on, Frank.
So
Hold on, Frank. Everybody, hold on. All I'm saying is, I hear what you're saying, but they're trying to use the same tactic in reverse. But but I also agree what you're saying, Joe, is somebody got to be the bigger person and say, "We're not going to give you the wall," or "I'm not going to give you nothing," which would Trump have to say, and say, "I'll give you this." And hopefully the Democrats will say, "You have your 5 point whatever the fuck billion, but the Dreamers and all this other shit are back on the table."
But he already said no to that.
That's what needs to happen.
He already said no to that.
So right now,
you need to say yes to it then.
All right.
You want your wall. You got But the negotiation can't be, "Hey, agree with me and capitulate."
But that's what's happening.
There's got to be movement. It can't be that.
Right.
Basically,
but that's what Mike Pence, even Mike Pence backed Mike Pence and Lindsey Graham and Jim Greasley or whatever. They had a plan. They were trying to get support for a GOP construct of what Trump wanted. They had some Democratic to support, but they had something that would pass the Senate, right? Something that was similar. No. I'm talking about.
McConnell won't bring it to the floor.
No, I'm talking about.
Won't bring it to the floor, so it's not going to work.
Right, because why is he not going to bring it? Because of the wall, the 5.7 billion. That's what's holding. Even his own party was like, "Yo, you're not going to get the whole thing." But Frank, this is where we can go.
You're talking about Republicans negotiating with other Republicans. We're talking about Democrats negotiating with Republicans. You're not talking about apples and apples.
But
you're talking about Republicans going back and negotiating and coming up with stuff that Republicans can't even agree upon.
Right, but they're getting Democratic support behind it.
But back to your analogy though, if the dealership can't agree on a price, how can I debate with them or finagle with them?
Because he's not Trump is not budging off of that 5.7. Yeah, and I agree with you. You're gonna get your 5.7, but you're gonna give me an equal. You're going to give me the equivalence of 5.7 back to me.
Yes.
I get that, but he's not doing that. He's not doing that. There's already been different proposals.
Okay, so now let me get this, because I was trying to say this shit earlier. Then that's when you say to the American public, because that is the boss of everybody, you come back to the American public and say, this is the deal we put on the table.
That's what the Democrats have been doing.
They have not done.
They've been doing, bro. They've been doing that.
Frank, when did they say they brought the Dreamers to the table? They said they walked away from the table. They said there was a tantrum that was thrown, and they walked out.
No, he walked out on Wednesday. That was a Wednesday. That was on Wednesday.
Hold on, but
remember, they had a deal before Christmas. They had a deal before Christmas.
I will. Hold on. I will say, depending on who you believe, that the president said, "This is what I want," and he walked out, or the Democrats said, "We're not going to give you what you want," and then he walked out. So it depends on the reporting source.
I think I heard it from both sources, out of both horses' mouths, that the president said, "Are you going to give me the wall?" The Democrats agreed to saying no. Like they said, "No, we're not going to give you that money." And then he said bye-bye and walked out. I heard it from both sides.
But how do you do it? But I'm saying, if you say, "Give me the wall," and I say no, and you leave, how do I negotiate with that? How do I say but? But how do I say? Well, hold on. But Joe, how do I say? Joe, you talk a lot.
Turn the question back to you.
You talked a lot. If I say no and you walk away, how do I say but if you give me this, but you walked away? Your opening question was
you don't say no. You say
opening question.
Let me say this. You say, "I will be willing to discuss it if we have certain conditions met."
But once again, why is it? But once again, you putting it on the Democrats. Your president, who's supposed to be this.
I'm not putting it all on Democrats.
You just did.
I spent like 15 minutes on Mitch McConnell, man.
Joe, in this particular.
I put 15 minutes on Mitch McConnell.
Can I finish?
Look at this. Look at this paragraph right here.
You talked a long time. Joe, you just said, he said this. I'm talking about this particular interaction with the Democrats. He said, "Give me my wall." They said no. He got up and left. I'm talking about this particular situation. If you're supposed to be this fucking,
what are we going? After you said no, what are we going to talk about?
He got up and left though.
You just said no. What are we talking about?
But can I finish? Like, you finish? Can I finish? If you're supposed to be this great negotiator, why not say, "Hey, give me my wall and I'll give you this"?
Okay, here you go.
You're supposed to be the great negotiator, right?
Here you go. So we're going back. So remember, we're here now because he disagreed to, before they went on the Christmas break or whatever session. Remember, they already had he came out. He came out on Tuesday of that week. He said "Yo, we have a deal in place. I'm gonna sign it." On Wednesday, he got blasted by Fox News and Rush Limbaugh and said, "No, you should give in to this wall. This is what you campaign on." Thursday comes around and he doesn't sign that bill that was agreed upon. That even Mitch McConnell put it to a vote in the Senate, and so he didn't sign it.
Hold on, Frank. That last paragraph include Democrats,
right?
Seating,
right. So this is the original. This is the original. Right after he said that, the Republicans try to push the $5.7 billion. Then because McConnell wasn't going to go ahead and fucking put it to a vote because he knows that the president's not going to go sign it, so he's not going to put it to a vote if he knows something he's not going to sign it. So, and then here's Mike Pence, Mulvaney, and some other leaders or whatever. They try to compromise, and so that's the back and forth negotiation, right? You're in the table, but then far back over here, you're talking about putting the DACA thing. Graham put that DACA deal back into it, and he negotiated with the Democrats to put that on there. But Trump has said, "No, DACA's not a deal because I want that to go to the Supreme Court and have their ruling first." So I understand that you have, in negotiating tactics, you have your two positions, but you also have to have a compromise too. And if one position is willing to compromise, when the other one's standing firm, and I understand that's his labor.
Side willing to compromise. I don't see either
but
side.
They just did. But you said they said nothing when they did give something.
They said no. What? You're talking about Lindsey Graham. You talking about Lindsey Graham?
Okay, so Lindsey Graham has got this information out of nowhere.
Lindsey Graham's a Republican.
Right.
So he got the information from
and
nowhere,
Mike Pence.
Right? He talking on his ass.
Dude, they sat at the table.
Okay. All right, man. All I'm saying is that we can move on, dog. You seem to be like the Democrats should just give this nigga what he want, and that's it.
Not what I'm saying.
Okay,
at all.
So he's not going to give the DACA. So DACA's off the table.
What I'm saying to you, it takes two parties in a negotiation. That's all I'm saying.
Hear my words. I didn't say that's what you said. I said that's what it seems. That's how you feel. Like they should just give it what he want.
Well, from your perspective, maybe that's what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm saying. And if you're listening to what I'm saying, that's not at all what I'm saying.
But like it's like if you come to the table and say I want A, and then you
what are you trying to say, Joe?
You say I want A.
I've said it several times.
I hear what you're saying though, but it's like if I say you want A, and I say we're not gonna give you A, and you walk away, what am I supposed to do? But on top of that, if the nigga that's saying I want A is supposed to be this great negotiator who wrote all these books, the onus is on you. You're supposed to be the negotiator, right? The art of the deal. That's true.
Here you go.
Book, that's why.
I guess.
Come on, man.
Here you go.
Come on, man.
Here you go. Look, his own party, but a spokesman. But look, it's also saying, he's also noting on this article, not including the show notes, but a spokesman for Schumer, Mr. Schumer, complained that the White House was sending mixed signals, noting that Mr. President had yet to publicly embrace the Pence-Mulvaney offer. Like his own party are trying to come up so they could give the president some of what he wants, a compromise, and open the government for the Democrats, a compromise, and then continue on negotiation. And even it goes on further. It says while one White House official says they're willing to compromise, another says the president is holding firm at no less than $5 billion for the wall. So, and I get it, but even okay. So let's say
when he's made that clear, because yes, he was very unclear in the early stages of the negotiation when they came up with the bill to kick the can down the road and wait till February.
Right.
And he definitely went back on his word. But what I'm saying, he has come to the table and he has said clearly, this is what I'm looking for.
That's important to him.
I'm not saying that you have to give him what he wants, Frank. I'm not saying that's what you have to give him. But I'm saying to you, you need to entertain the idea. Let's say we are willing to give him this. What are we going to get in return? And I haven't heard that at all.
But as a good negotiator, that should be your.
You won't get shit from him because he won't sit down unless
you know what I will get.
But as
I will get. No doubt, I will get the soundbite where he acts childish, and I can take that back.
We already got it with the shutdown. That he owns the shutdown.
You mean when he slams the table and says, "I'll shut down the government for years"?
Yeah, and I'll take pride of it, and I'll take ownership of the shutdown.
I mean, which particular soundbite do you need, Joe?
You don't need a soundbite, Joe. For real.
No. Which particular soundbite do you need? The one where he's with the House Representative leader. He says,
I know that we encapsulate ourselves with Democrat friends, and that's all we hear. And we echo what we already think.
I'm not a Democrat.
I'm saying to you that there are people out there in the world. Well, there are American citizens out there in the world who don't necessarily say that the soundbite is enough. They said that he was goaded into that statement.
Yeah, but we're talking about us right here, so fuck them. We talking about us. You talking about some Simple Simon niggas.
I'm talking about negotiating.
I'm talking
about negotiations.
Fuck all that.
I'm talking about the art of the deal.
Because then, when we talked about beforehand, we can exclude all the R. Kelly shit because sound bites and nobody saw the video and nobody had privy to all this shit. We can excuse a lot of shit. I'm talking about right now what we're talking about. We are all four very intellectual men who know what's going on. I'm talking about right now.
What I'm saying to you as an intellectual, I'm looking at it from more than one perspective. I'm looking at it from more than my own lenses.
And
I'm saying to you,
but how can
you? I'm saying to you that there's a big portion of the American public that is in favor of what Trump is saying, and he has leverage. And what I'm saying to you is you're going to have to respect that leverage because eventually this may not play out as well as you want for Democrats.
And I would say there's an equal portion of society who does not give a fuck about what Trump wants.
Right.
But they not winning elections.
Yes, they did. They just flipped out the House of Representatives.
Because we don't do
Did
popular
they win
vote.
the Senate? Did they win the Senate? Did they win the popular vote in the Senate?
No, but they did turn some seats though.
Yeah.
Some seats. No, they not in the Senate. They didn't.
I thought they turned some seats.
Not in Senate,
Missouri.
no.
In the Missouri, we had a Democratic senator. We now have a Republican.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they turned some seats to Republican.
The Republicans are still winning seats in the Senate. You have to respect that.
I'm saying, but also on a national level, you got to respect the fact that he lost the popular vote. So
why? That's not the game we playing. We already discussed.
But
that
but it is the game we playing. You can't just say one voice matters and one doesn't. You're saying I won this, but fuck everybody else.
If that ain't the rules of the game, yeah, we can say that.
But you got to respect all rules of the game. You can't say respect
Dude,
this voice. And
we can't play baseball and call out touchdown, man.
Yeah.
I'm calling out home run, my nigga.
We can't be out here playing football talking about damn that was a slam dunk. You can't do that shit, man.
Okay, but you also can't come here and say that
ain't the rules of the game, man.
It isn't.
All right, but
there is an electoral college. Dude, we already been over.
Okay,
this
all right. So, but anyhow,
Frank. We already been over this shit. But at the same point in time, there was a switch in the House, which you just yada yada yada. There wasn't.
And you on yada 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 that they lost ground in the Senate?
No, I don't.
But how many of those houses were competitive?
Hold on, but I'm not a Democrat, and I'm not beholden to any party. So let's get that off right there. So what I'm saying is, they gained ground in the Senate. He also did not win the popular vote when he won the motherfucking president election.
Which means shit. Which means shit.
But it means shit. But you can't say that You can't say that one voice doesn't matter and another does. Which is you trying to say?
It actually does. It really does mean that.
Okay.
It really does mean that. It means that a vote in Wyoming means way the fuck more than a vote in California. It really means that shit.
Well, right now, but it depends on how we do what?
The electoral college.
People get more elections and they change the rules of the vote and things of that nature. But then 4 years from now, we might be changing that though. Then right, then you'll say that doesn't matter, right? I don't know.
When we change the rules, I'll evaluate the new rules and I'll see what it means.
Okay, cool.
Until
all right.
then, I'm saying to you,
you're playing within the rules.
It's not equal in one state versus another state when you're talking about voting for president.
That
is true. No, that is true.
I understand that. I don't want you to say it's not equal, but people's opinions do matter, right?
Depends on what state they live in.
Yeah.
Okay.
People's opinions do matter, right?
Mm.
I answered your question, man. Depends on what state you live in.
Okay, so we're going back. So we're going back. We're gonna finish it out, but we're gonna so talking about on the negotiation tactics, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that, but that's
basically get the president when he wants, fuck everything else.
But so I deal with government contracts, and we do sometimes enter into negotiations, and we take classes and all that shit. And part of negotiations is you have to know your position, but more importantly, you have to know like what the position of the person or the individual or company you're gonna go and negotiate with. You gotta know what you can provide, and you have different points. You have your ultimate, your middle, and then like the lowest bar, right? Obviously, you're not gonna come in with your lowest offer. You're gonna try to work down. You know what I'm saying? To that, you know what I mean? Because as a contractor, I know they're going to come in and try to come in with the highest price. As a government, I know I'm not going to pay the highest price. We're going to try to negotiate that shit down. You know what I'm saying? But if a contractor comes out to me and says, yo, max dollars right here, this is the quality, boom, this is the price that we're going to pay. This is the price for you. I'm like, all right, cool. I evaluate all the proposals. Yours was the best one, but it is one of the highest. Is there any way that we can negotiate that price down? What is the most reasonable? That's what we do. That's what you're supposed to do, right? But if they come out and tell me like, yo, hard line, we can't go any lower than this. This is our top dollar. We can't go into this, or now we're going to close. Well, at that point, as a government, as a negotiator, I walk out because there's no negotiation taking place. I walk out. And that's what Trump is doing. But the Democrats and some Republicans, even his own vice president and his own majority leader, are providing different proposals to him to at least consider. But he's not flinching.
The Senate majority leader is not providing shit.
No, not the majority. No, Lindsey Graham. My bad. Lindsey Graham. My bad. I misspoke on that one. But I'm saying you have your president, the nigga that if you fucking die takes over the fucking government. The second in line is telling you like, yo, you gotta, this is what it is. You this is where you're at. This is what you want, but you're not gonna get that. We see that already. Let's talk you down to the next level. And he's not doing that because in part is because he has the leverage right now. But the Democrats have a leverage. They have the soundbite of Trump taking ownership for the shutdown. They have the proof that even Trump himself and the figures and the numbers that the fencing that what's in place right now is being effective. They just want to be more effective, right? Because they tout the stats, even though they're false. They tout the stats. They stop so many fucking terrorists from coming in.
I don't even want to get into the stats.
Right, but I'm saying though, but like now he just wants a monument that he wants to feed his ego, and we all know that. And then as a federal employee, which McConnell, Schumer, Pelosi, all them motherfuckers are, you have to be like a prudent defender of taxpayer dollars. That wall is not if you pay and put cement blocks or steel that's not effective use of taxpayers' dollars. I could take $1 billion and fix the water problem in Flint. I could take another $1 billion and fund something else.
This is something he ran. I mean, I don't agree with it, but this is something he ran upon.
But look at how he came back down. That Mexico was paying, and look at how gradually now he's saying like, "Oh well, I never said that Mexico would write me a check. I said that in the deal that we're quote unquote drafting."
He's full of shit. I mean, he's full of shit. It's not to be debated. He's full of shit. I mean, I don't.
You can't. You can't negotiate with somebody that doesn't want to negotiate, and that's what Trump is doing right now. That's the only leverage that he has right now, and he's gonna hold on to it.
I agree with that.
That's my final thoughts.
All I'm saying, I don't know what the end. For me, I don't know what the end looks like. I don't think he's a motherfucker that moves, and it's clear by the sign that all these motherfuckers who are in the Republican Party who are like now speaking publicly about what's going on with inside the party that they don't know what to do. But like once again, I'm always leery when it comes to the Democratic Party that these motherfuckers always just give up the booty.
And if they give him this wall, they'll never hear the end of it. Never hear the end of this shit. And that's more fucking damaging than anything else.
Like Joe was saying, if they give up the wall, but there's something else to it, whether it's DACA, whether it's like these, like what like hurts my heart personally, where these people who decided to join, these soldiers who decided to join the armed forces with the promises to be citizens who are now in limbo right now.
Mm-hmm.
For like many, like one of the things that like it's like Flint, Michigan, and they water. Like another thing that goes under the radar with this DACA shit, like there's like a lot of soldiers who have pledged their life to this fucking nation that it gives not a fuck about them if they're not white. If you're brown or not white looking, no one cares. Most people don't think you're in the military on top of that. But yeah, like that does fuck with me. Like, yeah, it's like if they can get something, but my caveat to Joe is I just don't think that they're gonna get what I don't think anything will be gotten.
He's using people's livelihood and paycheck to get his fucking wall because right now he can do a CR, a continuing resolution to reopen the government, get these people paid, get these people retroactively paid, and then come back and negotiate the wall.
But like he said though the other day though, he's under the assumption that most of the people affected are Democrats.
Yeah. No, he's not going to partially open the government because that gives away his leverage. He's
Right.
He's not going to give up his leverage voluntarily and then come back to the negotiating table. It needs to all be handled at the same time.
I feel you, but
yeah.
What I'm saying is, I don't think he, especially with DACA. And I know that was like a throwaway thing, like you were saying, not throwaway. You weren't being disrespectful like that. But I'm saying I just don't see him giving into that and a lot of other things that the Democrats would want to have.
He's already said no to DACA because he wants the Supreme Court to rule on it. And he said, until then I'm not going to step in.
Okay. Frank, I'm not saying DACA. Then give me the next DACA.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's not going to give you that.
I'm not in the government. I don't know what the other DACA is. But I'm saying they need to get $5.7 billion worth of whatever it is they want in exchange. If he's not going to capitulate.
But why do the Democrats have to do it? Why not do it in the first 2 years?
Why? What would be fucking wrong with getting something out of your shit?
But why are we in the first place? He had 2 years to pass it with his...
You answer my question with another question. Frank, answer my question. What would be wrong with getting something from your money?
There's nothing wrong with getting something from your money. I hear what Frank is saying also. When he had the ability to push it through, he didn't.
He was told that he was going to get it negotiated later, and it didn't happen. It didn't come to fruition.
This was the third shutdown.
The
third shutdown.
But the senators knew that there would never be a majority or super whatever they got down, super majority vote for that.
Okay.
So that's why they try to ask to like kept babying him and saying, hey, push it. And now when you push it, you can put it on Democrats. So this is where we're at now.
And even Lindsey Graham was like, man, fuck it. Go ahead and declare emergency. Because Lindsey Graham knows that if he does that shit, he's going to get challenged in the courts.
Because long ago, he could have said nuclear option. They could have said nuclear option long ago.
Yeah. So.
But what happened is.
What's to stop Trump from going back on his word? Let's say you agree to the second tier or even the third tier of DACA. Whatever the DACA is, I'm just using that word.
But it's not even DACA though. I think there were Republican senators who understood how ugly it gets when you say nuclear option, because they understand the economy ain't shit. So they know what's coming next. Democratic president, more than likely. And so, God, somebody making a Slurpee? What's happening right now?
I'm trying to get a drink, nigga. Yo, I'm talking this shit. I'm trying to get a drink, nigga.
He's trying to cut you off, though.
You talking that shit too, though, my nigga. But I'm saying yeah.
You must smack my lips.
Like long ago, this nigga could not the Democrats, the Republicans could have pushed this through nuclear option and had this approved long ago. But they wanted to lay this at the foot of the fucking Democrats.
This shit started before the Democratic Congress was seated.
That's what I'm saying, though. They knew it was coming.
This wasn't at the Democrats' feet. This shit was this was dealt with. The shutdown started back in December. The Democrats weren't seated until January 3rd.
Right. This was
as I'm saying, they could have pushed this through, but they didn't. They wanted to put this. Yeah, you hear what I'm saying? They wanted to put this at the feet of the Democrats. I hear what you're saying. Clearly, they could have did a fucking nuclear option long ago and got all this shit cleared, but they didn't want to do that
because they don't believe in this shit. They don't believe in this border wall.
So what we can do is say, "Oh, yeah, we don't agree with this, or
this
none
is y'all
of this shit." But what we can do is say it's the Democrats' fault.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dog. I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is, yeah, we don't agree with it. Well, you know what's better than saying we don't agree with it? Saying that these niggas we don't like don't agree with it and putting it at their feet.
Yeah.
But, in all this is shut down. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's all. This shit could have been approved a year ago.
Yeah.
Real talk.
And unfortunately, I know that the shutdown, some people today missed their first paychecks. Hopefully the first one, and they'll get, hopefully they get retroactively paid too. So, and hopefully some of your
and don't let you be mistaken. Fuck all them niggas, dog.
all of them.
Cause they playing with house money while real Americans suffer, dog. Whether you be Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green Party, or a nigga who just say I don't vote because it don't matter. Yeah. Fuck all them niggas, cause it affects all them people while these niggas play with house money.
Yeah. Well, they're all getting paid too. They're all getting a check.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
All of them are. All of them are. We talked about this in the group. They get a check from IRS. All the senators are the prisoners. And the president and the senators, all that shit. They all get, because they didn't want the stoppage of the government.
Does the House get paid too?
They get paid by the IRS. Direct. We talked about this. The only thing they did, they did freeze the $10,000 pay increase to the VP and some other staffers. But like I said, I mean, hey, this government shutdown is affecting real people. Real's lives are being affected by it. Hopefully, some of them can get real help and assistance. Unfortunately, I know, as successful as people want to say they are, people budget with their paychecks, and they rely on that shit. And I hope that people don't lose their houses or apartments because they miss one payment. You know what I mean? So, and at least I think IRS, was it IRS? No, the Department of Treasury called in favor into the industry, the mortgage industry. So today, hopefully some of these mortgage lenders are going to be a little bit easy on some of these that are being affected, but we won't know how many are. But anyhow, so it's about, and we'll go on to the next topic. We'll skip the coaches in the NFL stuff right now and dive right in to get our final thoughts on the Chiefs. Why
are we skipping that?
Do we? I mean, because we're coming up on 3 hours.
You want to talk about black people? You don't want to talk about black people?
I do, but
you want to talk about Mexicans for an hour because of the wall, man. You don't want to talk about black people and how they being disenfranchised.
I never mentioned.
That all about?
I never mentioned anything of that. Hey, if you're my employer,
we don't. If the wall is racist, the wall is racist. That's what you was on, man. You don't want to talk about black people and racism. I feel you, Star.
And if you're my employer, fucking Joe right here, he just asks, it just eggs everything on, though. You're an instigator, Joe. I'm starting to realize that.
Nah, you want to skip over the bitch?
Whoa. We're talking about one of the biggest instigators.
For real, though. Oh, anyhow, man. So we could do, I mean, we're coming up on the 3 hour mark already. So do we want
to? We cut it into 2 episodes, man.
Okay, that's fine. All
right,
so
we skipped a week.
All right, so talking about any final thoughts on the shutdown before we move on to the next topic? Story.
The shutdown.
Yeah.
Shit. Fuck everybody.
Joe.
Let's move on. We got it. We just said we got to say. Let's move on.
All right.
All right. So going back into. So go ahead. I'll let Winston.
Pro Trump. I'm joking. I'm joking. It's a joke.
All right. Go ahead, Winston. This is something that you posted about Kingsbury being hired by the Cardinals, but it's beyond or deeper than that. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I know I'll be put on point. Yeah, man, it's I don't know who this old white man is, but if I had to have a older grandpappy, I hope he would be my grandpappy. Basically, it's like we talked about before, where a lot of shit in society, as far as like racism, preference, all shit, it don't get fixed unless white folks, specifically white males, start to address it and bring it to light. So here we have a elder white man who was using the NFL and some of their practices recently to put on white privilege on blast. So let it play, Frank.
Arizona Cardinals hiring Cliff Kingsbury as their new coach. Even my guys Mike and Jonah have been questioning that hire. But Kingsbury fits all the criteria to be a head coach in the NFL. He's an offensive genius, he's young, and he's white. And not necessarily in that order. There have been 6 new coaches hired so far, all white, and 2 coaches of color they are replacing. Stephen Wilkes, fired in Arizona after just 1 year. Vance Joseph in Denver after just 2. But Cowboys coach Jason Garrett is in his 9th year, apparently because he wins so much. A lot of people don't understand how Kingsbury can have a losing record at Texas Tech, no NFL experience, and get one of the 32 NFL jobs. But getting fired at Tech doesn't eliminate him from moving up, at least it doesn't to me. I've had 11 jobs in my life, been fired from 8 of them, and moved up every time. And I am arrogant enough to tell you, I think Channel 8 was right to give me another chance. But I am the product of white privilege in America, and I've never denied that I wasn't either. If they made a poster, my picture should be on it. Getting fired at one place and getting another chance isn't the problem. But young, talented coaches of color not getting the chance, that's a huge problem. The covert racism of the NFL ownership group was so bad, the NFL had to make a rule so that minority coaches could at least get an interview. Cowboys secondary coach Chris Richard has been interviewed, and there are reports saying he might get the Miami job. After what he's done with this Cowboys defense, how could he not? Unless it is true, what black parents have been telling their children for decades now, you have to be twice as good to go half as far. I dream of the day when those parents are wrong, because now they're not.
I don't know who this man is. This is Dale Hansen.
I'm not trying to throw shade on old boy. So when he was at Cliff Kingsbury, right? When he was at Texas Tech, right? Is a coach, the school he held from before getting this pro star, right? So I want, I don't want to do my what's up, boy, the weird white guy. Damn it, from True Detective, who does this. Now imagine him being black, but we already done that. We already done McConaughey, right? So here you have, let's say this is a black coach, right?
And a Time to Kill.
Yeah, Time to Kill, right? So here we are going from 2013 to 2018. Here's his record, right? So first year.
Hold up. You just tanked, though. Recognize your tank.
What's my tank?
It was a Time to Kill, and you said you referenced another TV show.
Well, what? He is in True Detective, though.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't. Matthew McConaughey wasn't.
Matthew McConaughey, yeah, he is.
I can't remember his name, so you just fucked up all together. Matthew McConaughey. Because I knew I would tank. That's why I just knew the last show that I liked that he was in, which was True Detective, which Matthew McConaughey was in. But never mind. Let Frank. Yeah, take that hat off, nigga. Fake ass fan. Anyway, so look at these 5 years. I'm gonna say these 5 years as a young coach. If he was black, let's see if he gets into the NFL to be a head coach, right? So first year, 8-5. Second year, 4-8. Third year, 7-6. Fourth year, 5-7. Fifth year, 6-7. Last year, 5-7. NFL material?
Not if you ass.
He developed Mahomes.
He had 2 years where he was above 500. 2 years when he was above 500, bro.
He developed Mahomes.
Well, to put a little context with that, he had a high-flying offense all of them years, didn't he? And he did some revolutionary things on the offensive side of the ball, right?
Let's go. But I hear what you're saying, Joe. They scored a lot.
What was their record?
They scored a lot. And they had a lot of motherfucking yards and point production. But if you a nigga, what's your record?
Yeah. No, I'm in no means am I saying that he is not experiencing white privilege. I'm saying this, that the records that you're talking about, to me, do not ban him from getting an NFL job. I'm saying to you, he did some revolutionary things at Texas Tech. They weren't necessarily they didn't pan out. They didn't pan out in national championship bids. But you also have to understand that college football, the dynamics of college football are not the same as the dynamics of NFL. The resources available at Texas Tech are not the same.
Hold on, bro. Hold on, Joe. I'm not talking about national championship bid. We talking about a man that had 2 seasons where he was above 500.
I'm saying if you're looking at wins and losses as the only metric, no. But I'm saying to you, he did some different things on the offensive side of the ball.
If he got
I'm not saying I would hire him. I'm saying to you,
I would hire him as
let's paint the whole picture.
I would hire him as an assistant coach. I would hire him, not a head coach. He's a head coach somewhere, bro.
I don't doubt that. I understand that. I get that. I understand all that.
That's totally different, bro. I will hire you as my assistant coach. I will hire you as my weight coach. I will hire you as my special team coach. You're not. If you a nigga with these records, you're not getting a head coaching position. Who's up? What's up, boy? Cormiel, nigga. Who's now?
Cormiel.
Oh, dog.
I am not arguing that he is not experiencing white privilege. I'm saying he is absolutely experiencing white privilege. I'm saying to you, those records do not prevent a candidate from getting the head coaching job in the NFL. If you're looking at certain ideas,
I think Roger was reverting to Romeo Cornell.
I'm saying that they should, because the reason why it became a topic was because this is a one-of-a-kind thing.
It is one of a kind.
This particular, that's what I'm saying. That's why this white man was talking about it, because this particular man being hired as a head coach is a one-of-a-kind thing, even for white males.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a very unique thing. I would definitely say that I think the NFL is experiencing a renaissance where they're willing to give younger and younger coaches the opportunity. I think they're thinking outside the box. And this, I'm not sure he's extremely young, but I'm saying to you that he has a different mindset than other people have had. And when you see, when he develops a path.
I mean, listen to his record, though.
Yeah, I understand that. And I've also said that the comparing Texas Tech to Oklahoma is two completely fucking different things. If we're comparing Texas Tech to Alabama, that's two completely different things.
I'm not comparing that. I'm not comparing him to other powerhouse programs.
But Anthony is. So what I'm saying to you, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm talking about the innovation that he did at Texas Tech. I'm saying to you the development of a quarterback that in Mahomes.
But I'm saying,
and there was other quarterbacks too before Mahomes.
All right, okay.
There was other quarterbacks before Mahomes that he did. He made him look. Yeah. He made him look really stellar.
But I would agree with Joe. You know what? I'd agree with Joe on that part. Yeah, okay, he did some things.
Hold on.
And he is somewhat of a prodigy too. So a good prodigy.
Win record though. Are you gonna make? Are you gonna
fuck his win record? Fuck all that.
To the Super Bowl. The goal of any NFL team is to take the franchise to the Super Bowl.
Fuck all of that. There is a black assistant offensive coordinator with Patrick Mahomes right now, who is breaking records, who is not considered high level for a head coach position.
Well, he had 2 interviews. He had at least 2 interviews.
2 out of how many teams that need a head coach?
That's all I know of. That's all I know.
Yeah, but
that's the standard for the NFL.
But something. So, okay. I'll say this. I'll speak to.
Reach their quota.
I'll speak to Joe. To Joe's point that there is something to the innovation and the freshness and the ideas that somebody brings.
Well, why does innovation always involve white men?
I don't know, but I know that the white man that's coaching the Rams, he's young, he's innovative, there's other reasons. He has the stats and he has the knowledge to get the job, to be eligible for the job. But there's other at least for that person, for that coach, there were other factors that played into for him getting the job. You know what I'm saying? And
This nigga got a sub 500 career win record, dog.
At
That's
Texas
what I'm
Tech.
talking about. At Texas Tech.
At Texas Tech. Let's be real.
No.
and also he was hired as the OC for USC for a month, so
Okay.
USC wanted him because they recognized something.
Who?
What do they recognize?
He-
They always recognize white men in all these programs.
Right, but he was hired at USC. USC even blocked the two
USC.
They blocked two
USC
NFL teams
recognized
from
Twizzle
interviewing
and
him. I'm just saying though, man. There's something to it. Apparently, the USC saw it.
The magic of white men. The same.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, but because look, we have what was the old
Wait a minute, Frank. Which one you don't agree with? What are you not agreeing with?
like I don't agree that the white man thing, like the white privilege shit that he's getting. I don't agree with that shit. I don't think it's right.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But no, like just Charlie Strong. So Charlie Strong.
You don't agree that it's wrong to have white privilege. That's what you're saying.
What?
What are you saying that you don't agree with?
That other coaches of color are not being considered.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it now. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, it's I don't know.
Let's take. I'm saying this to you. The conditions at Texas Tech are not the same as the conditions in the NFL, and so I'm going to take the record out of the situation because he is at a. There is never.
I would say it harder. I'd say it harder.
I'd say they're much harder. So for him to get
Mike Leach might dispute you as far as winning coach at Texas Tech.
What did Mike Leach do at Texas Tech?
We can look it up.
Oh, he put him on the map, bro. He made him contenders.
Right. So I mean, I was thinking. I know of Mike Leach. I know that he had some success there. I don't know the level of success there. But what I'm saying to you, within I'll put it this way: before 15 years ago, Texas Tech hadn't won a goddamn, probably been to a bowl game in probably a couple decades, I imagine. They were asked. I maybe that's how I feel. I may be wrong, and I'm willing to be wrong on that.
Well, Mike Leach in general, he has a record of 133 and 83.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to his Big 12 time. But you keep talking, Pimp.
But I'm just saying this. I don't have a problem with this particular coach getting a job. I have a problem with of the African American coaches that were in the league. It seems like there was a huge number of firings of African American coaches when you held on to some very marginal white coaches. And like I'll put it this way: I listened to the Stephen A. clip that was talking about this, and I was really thinking about this before Stephen A. even said anything about it. Is that I was looking up, and every single coaching vacancy was a black man. You had a black man in Cincinnati. You had a black man in Cleveland. You had a black man with the Jets up in New York. You had a black man, Byron Leftwich down in Arizona. You had all these black coaches getting dismissed from their positions. Tampa Bay, I believe, was a black man too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what I'm saying to you, all these black men losing the job, but 70% of the NFL is black people.
But you talk about context, though. You talk about some of those coaches were fired in the first year, which is a rarity.
Yeah, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? To the point where the only two black coaches that were left in the league, one just came off a 12-4 season with the Chargers, and the other one is he didn't make the playoffs, and there was some grumblings, but he's got a Super Bowl win to his resume, and they talking about getting rid of him. So I'm just saying to you that when we have 32 teams and two of the coaches that are currently employed are black, and 70% of the league is black, there's some problems. And the Rooney Rule, which is brought up in the clip, is definitely necessary to make sure that you ask like if this person's out of the eye and consider if they were black. we need to continue to put people in affirmative action situations to give them opportunities because they have not been given the opportunity to fail. When we are free to fail and have a second place, that's when we may not need the Rooney Rule anymore.
So who's going to negotiate that?
Hey, I'm gonna add this in. So when Mike Leach was there with the Red Raiders, he had 3 9-win seasons: 2002, 2005, 2007, and 11-win season 2008.
Mm-hmm.
In 2002, Texas Tech set this in-state conference rivals Baylor, Texas A&M for the first time since 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Defeated Clemson in 55-15 in the Tangerine Bowl. So basically, he went to a lot of bowl games when he was there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I really probably had this guy confused with Mike Leach. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know this guy from Adam.
No, Kingsbury's got talent. He's got talent, and he's a prodigy. But I think the thing that shocked a lot of people, I think, is his age, because in Texas Tech he was playing that part, that young coach, with the Ray-Bans, with the comb over, listening to hip hop and all that stuff, but also being a football mind, a football genius or offensive genius. So, I mean, and it wasn't a secret. Everybody knew it in NCAA and in NFL, I would imagine.
At the end of the 2008 season, Mike Leach was 76-39 with the Red Raiders.
Well, let's look at this though. But how many African American head coaches do we have down in Division I football?
I agree. I think it's like me and my brother looked it up. I think it's like at 10% or some shit like that. It's not a lot.
So what? And when you say 10%, you're probably talking about a lot of those.
It's like 100. No, yeah, it was 100 and so 10% is like 100 and less than 120 schools are Division I AA. So we looked it up.
I think it's like 110. I think it was 110.
So yeah, 10% of that. So you're talking about
for D1,
13, 14 head coaches.
Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is, you talking about where the black geniuses, they not be given the opportunity to show their genius.
Right. But yeah, but
there's no training ground for them to go ahead and say, hey, this is my resume.
Right. But that's what made us look it up. Was there was a report talking about how much longer it takes for black coaches to be recognized as opposed to the white counterparts. I.e., this is why this white dude talking about this kind of stuck to me, because it's like, yeah, he's done some good things, but a black coach in the same position would be like, he ain't ready. Mm-hmm. And that's all I was saying. I'm not saying like NFL do what NFL do. Hire white coaches. That's what they do. I get it. That's fine. Great. Got it. But some point in time, somebody has to say, well, why does the same black coach with the same record have to have 15 years while you give this guy 6 years and get a head coach position? Why does a black coach with the same amount of record and yards and numbers and has pushed the same amount of players into the NFL draft have to have so many more years than the same white coach? So I'm not saying that the NFL is doing what the NFL does. I get it. I got it. All I'm saying is it's fucked up. That's it.
Yeah. Yep. I pretty much why I brought up the whole conversation. It's just fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cause, I mean, there's like I didn't realize that. I assumed that there was more head black coaches in the NCAA based off of numbers, and you look at it, you're like, there's only like 13 to 14. Like, goddamn.
Yeah. And there's not, and I think there are coaches. They're just not in the head coaching. A lot of them are like OCs and all that stuff. And
I specifically want to search head coaches.
Yeah.
Because that means a lot to me. Not OCs, not the nigga coach, not the fucking special team coach, not that. I want no head coaches.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying that, like, we talk about not having like like a platform for them to prove themselves, to pad their stats and all that. How many of them are still in the lower ranks of coaching? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
that don't get that's
what
bullshit
I'm
too.
saying is, you will find that a African American has to spend more time, which you would call the quote unquote lower rankings, to move up. Like,
Yeah.
and we just prove here's this guy. I mean, that's great. All these, he may have, I'm sure he does, especially you got Patrick Mahomes on the back end of that, all these numbers and stats, but overall record is what tends to be what all African American coaches.
He also had
whatever,
Baker Mayfield.
They had to deal with. Like, fuck that, the fact that my quarterback I had here in my program, my system, threw for 8,000 yards and got drafted number 2 in the draft. They don't give a fuck when it comes to African American coaches.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna tell. I'm like, yeah. And the fact is, you like Joe said, Eric Bieniemy had we know he did 2 interviews, right? If that was a white dude, he'd have all the interviews, nigga.
Mm.
Come on now. He would have 2.
Let me tell you.
He had more than 2.
So we had the Bears coach versus the Eagles coach last week in the wild card round. And they both off the reed tree. I don't know how many interviews they had beforehand. I still think Eric Bieniemy, if he sticks with this program, I think he'll get a head coaching job sooner rather than later.
Oh, he will. But I'm saying is there'll be more people knocking down his door. That's all. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think the ratio right now. I think we had a rash of black coaches fired. And we had a rash of white coaches hired to replace black coaches.
Yeah, but at the same point in time, we had the same rash of the same white coaches who fell somewhere else who get hired.
Yeah. And that's a problem. I mean, I think black people should have a chance to fail and get a second chance.
But that's the thing though, and we all know about that though. We not allowed to be subpar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basic things like movies and media. You let a nigga produce or direct a subpar film, that's hit for him. Unless you Tyler Perry, who has his own production company.
Oh, he's another case, though. Let's not talk about him right now.
I'm not mad at him though. I mean, I'm not mad at him. He gives niggas jobs. Why should I be mad at him?
Yeah. Okay.
I may not enjoy his particular brand of film, but there's a lot of old black women, a lot of old niggas out there who love his films. Who am I? Like the same white boys who go watch Adam Sandler. I don't shame them. Why should I shame niggas that like his movies?
Oh no, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about his dealings and handlings of talent behind the screens, behind the camera.
I didn't know he had there's some controversy going on.
He doesn't without getting into it too much. He doesn't really, he skims off the top, and he doesn't really. You know how the community they feel like he should be doing more for the community and paying them equal.
Everybody skim off the top though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I think that's what the backlash he gets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't get that.
I don't see anything wrong with that though.
He pushes African American.
I'm not saying me. Like, he doesn't push the talent or support it like how you should. Like Ava DuVernay or whatnot. If you get a big budget dollar film, then you pay your actors and actors like their due. And I think there's something, and he makes them sign contracts too. Like,
but he rarely gets big budget films though.
Yeah, none of his.
I'm just saying, like, this is what I've heard rumblings about. I'm not saying that the factor.
One day we can talk about that and we can investigate that. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what big budget production from how. I mean, I can think of one that he produced or directed, but what big budget production outside his own studio has he produced?
I don't know. I would have to look into it, like I said.
Yeah.
I'm be curious.
It'd be fine. No, don't get me wrong. I used to be on the other side, like this nigga making all this bullshit, And then I was like, wait a minute. Why can't niggas make bullshit and be happy? White folks do it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like some of his. I find some of his movies entertaining. You know what I mean? So
No, I don't. There's not a lot of his movies that I like, but then I say like Adam Sandler. There's not a lot of movies that I like. Why can't niggas do the same thing?
right. Oh, hey, so we're done talking about the black quarterback athlete head coach stuff.
Probably.
Okay. Any last words, or anything about that?
Hire more niggas.
Joe?
Stop firing more niggas.
That's not. Hey, if you stop firing more niggas, you ain't gotta hire more niggas. So me and Joe on the same team, we don't even know it though. You know what I'm saying?
Anthony?
Niggas have to work 3 times as hard to keep their damn job. That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Yeah. Shit.
Okay, cool. I like that. All right, and so we're gonna close out the show, or the second show, with you know what I'm saying. We're Midwest, bound, but we have the majority of the people that are in this podcast. Well, actually, 75% of them live in the Kansas City area. 2 are diehard Chiefs fans. Diehard Chiefs fans. And we're gonna give him the space because we have what's happening this weekend, Joe? What's happening this weekend with the Chiefs?
We playing them motherfucking Colts.
Ooh. Is there history with you and the Colts?
The fucking bane of our existence.
Please explain.
Yes.
Hold on,
Go ahead.
Yeah, you got Joe. Go ahead.
Hey, my bad. Hey, just so you know, I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna let you Kansas City folks just do it. Just do it.
Don't mute yourself, nigga. Don't do that. Participate. Hold on. How you gonna mute yourself if you got a fucking Chiefs hat on, nigga?
I wanna listen to you two talk. I wanna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm a fan. I'm gonna be a fan for the next 35 minutes.
Can't be a fan. So here we go. Right here. I do the brief synopsis. 4 times the teams have met in the playoffs. Twice in the wild card round, and twice with a spot in the AFC title game on the line. Each time the Colts emerged victorious. That's all we got to say. 4 times we met, 4 times we lost, nigga.
Nah, it's more than that, man. That ain't enough. That don't do it justice at all.
No.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
That's the lead in for you to go ahead and take away, Joe.
Man, like, they have been not losses. They have been like the most fucking painful losses of all time. Like every single loss, I remember vividly exactly how that shit went down. Like every time it's like a knife in the back.
Hey, talk about the last loss though.
Hey, Joe, no, we talk about the first one, 1996, Lynn Elliott.
Lynn Elliott. Oh man.
Hey, my nigga didn't miss. He didn't miss one.
Not one.
Not two.
Not two.
3 motherfucking field goals this nigga missed.
Fucking. We ain't talking about 50, 60 yarders. We talking about chip shots.
Chip shots, y'all.
Chip shot.
We lost that bitch 10-7, nigga, and we had a fucking kicker miss 3 field goals, dude.
Hold on. What was the score, Joe? You remember the score?
10 to goddamn 7.
10-7. And this nigga missed 3 motherfucking field goals, nigga.
Could have went to the Super Bowl on 3 field goals.
We was like the 1 seed that year, weren't we? I feel like we were the 1 seed that year too.
I think we were.
I want to say we were. I want to say.
Yeah, because it was the divisional showdown. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Nah, that shit was painful.
Hey, what about 2003, Joe? What about 2003?
2003. No. That's fucking Peyton Manning versus Trent Green.
Uh-huh.
Nigga, they could not stop us on offense except for one time. And that one time was enough because we couldn't stop their ass for shit. Not one single solitary punt in that game.
Nope.
And that spelled our demise. Was that like 38-31 or something stupid?
Mm-hmm.
You correct.
You see a pattern here, right?
and then 3 years later, I think we lost 23-8.
We got to ask, and I was at that game. I went to that game. Nigga, we was basically me and my dude Jay Scott basically said, yo, first and foremost, we had Herm Edwards as a coach, and we were like 9-7 playing Marty Ball. And so basically, like 5 things had to happen in order for us to make the playoffs, and all 5 of those things miraculously happened. It was like the tumblers on a lock just lining up in sequence for us to get into the playoffs. So we were like, man, nah, we gotta go because it's meant to be, man. There's a higher power at work here,
right?
And so we went, and I flew to Chicago. My man was already there. We drove down from Chicago to Indianapolis to see the game, man, and we just basically got spanked up in Indianapolis. So,
Hold on. But the most painful though
was last year. I mean, no, the last time.
Not last year, 2013.
2013.
With this long beard motherfucker Andrew Luck.
Yep.
Was that more painful than Lynn Elliott game?
What's up?
Yes.
So that was a 45-44.
45 to 44.
It is painful.
Hold on.
We were on the road.
Let's not forget though.
To win that game, we were the 1 seed in that Lynn Elliott game, man. I don't know if it's more painful.
Hey, Joe. Let's not forget though. We were up 38-10.
We were up 38. We were up like 4 touchdowns at halftime.
At halftime, and we lost 45-44, nigga.
Yeah.
That, and if I'm not mistaken, that may have become the biggest comeback at halftime of all time.
Yes, it was.
Outside the Houston Bills game. Oh, for sure.
I remember the Houston Bills game. I thought it might have supplanted that one. I don't know.
I think you're right. You might be right. I think you're right. I remember being a little kid watching that game, and like
I remember that game too.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That'll never happen here, and I'm just like, wait a minute. As an adult, is this about to happen here?
Yeah, sure did.
Only thing ugly about that game was the fucking Bills quarterback was the backup, nigga. That's the only thing ugly about that shit. They did that shit with the backup quarterback at halftime, nigga. He came off the bench and started killing niggas.
Hey, dog, I was like, did somebody give Warren Moon some mayonnaise? This nigga lost all
right.
Dog.
He lost all that fire, man.
This nigga lost all that superpower. This nigga ain't throwing no touchdowns. He ain't throwing no more touchdowns.
No, stop.
Oh, Andrew Luck, man, that dude came back, and part of it, man, it was the fucking the new implication of the concussion protocol because we lost every goddamn tailback we had.
Yep.
It was like Jamal Charles went down, and then whoever was his backup went down, and then backup behind him went down. So we playing like the damn 5th string tailback.
It was basically Roger Winston back there taking handoffs, nigga. I'm like, I ain't ran the football in 20 years now. What we doing?
And that's the key position. That's the key position we need to. We need to kill this clock. We need to get some first downs, and we can't get a tailback and get no decent yardage to get a first down, man.
I remember like, so if we do have a few Kansas City fans out there, and they remember that pain. They remember that pain, those 4 losses, dog. And like I was at work today, and somebody like I think it was somebody new to the area. You in the hospital, you get travelers and shit, and it was just like people don't understand the levity of like why like niggas here hate the fucking Colts. Yeah, like, that's why we hate them, dog. Why. Like
that's
4 different times we met these niggas in the playoffs, and 4 times we have met defeat.
All 4 times so far.
And twice when we were supposed to be picked to win the game.
Yeah, and so I think this is the second time we're facing them as the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, and we've lost, and beyond that, so we have a history of just losing playoff games in general. We got a history of losing home playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we lost a ridiculous game to Pittsburgh a couple of years ago.
Nigga, with Trent Green, dog. Not Trent Green.
Alex Smith.
No, I'm like, dog, your defense can't be any better. If you came to me from the future and said you're gonna lose a game to the Pittsburgh Steelers when no one scores a touchdown.
All right.
I'd be like, you're fucking crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You're fucking crazy. But we did.
Yep, that happened.
What they scored like
That
three?
shit happened.
Three? Yes, you sure right. Wasn't it like 3 field goals?
Pittsburgh had like
Pittsburgh had 4, and we had 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, Pittsburgh had like 4 field goals, and then we had 2 or 3, dog.
Yeah, that's what it was, something like that bullshit.
Like, you gonna tell me a game where we have the league's best tight end, and we don't score a touchdown?
Yeah,
a touchdown, my nigga. We have
we had Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez.
You said Tony Gonzalez, dog.
Man, don't listen.
It was. It wasn't Tony Gonzalez. It was
Kelsey.
Nigga, Tony Gonzalez retired, nigga. Tony Gonzalez in the booth, nigga. What are you talking about?
This nigga's an Aints fan, dog. So don't even listen to him. He an Aints fan.
I love Saints.
First of all, he said Tony Gonzalez, nigga. That nigga.
First of all,
it's like a real spicy dish.
First of all, yeah, I really don't give a shit about the damn Chiefs. I'm the Saints fan.
I was gonna say something. You said like Tony Gonzalez. I was like,
I am a motherfucking Saints fan.
Is that a rice dish?
Coach Breeze, Alvin Kamara, and Mark Ingram.
Okay, I hope both of them niggas' legs explode, nigga.
Don't do that. I don't wish ill will on the Chiefs.
I wish ill will on any nigga that ain't on my team, nigga. What's up? I'm that petty.
Damn.
I'm that petty, dog. Man, all your dreams fail.
Wow. Well, I hope that Mahomes don't eat the mayonnaise.
Hey man.
Tomorrow.
I wish
hold on. Mahomes' mama's white, so the mayonnaise won't affect him.
Hey, we don't know because he likes ketchup. He likes ketchup just like the niggas.
He got equal parts house blood and slave blood. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Oh,
that's why he's excellent. He's the best. He's a blade. He's the blade of football, nigga. He has all our strengths and none of their weaknesses, nigga.
No, to tell you the truth, I would love to see Mahomes and Breeze in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm pushing for. I want Mahomes and Breeze in the Super Bowl.
Get the Super Bowl, nigga.
I wish the Aints ill.
Oh.
You know why?
Why?
Because there's a particular Aints fan who confused Travis Kelce with Tony Gonzalez.
No, dog. Tony Gonzalez, dog.
Hey, and I take offense, dog. Mongales in Spanish is like
all the motherfucking Chiefs could die on the bus.
He said Mongoles, dog. Mongoles are crazy folks,
dog.
The
motherfucking Chiefs die on the bus on the way to the damn stadium.
Damn, this is gonna be and it's bad weather too.
Nigga said Tony Gonzalez, dog.
That's why that motherfucking Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, I know we don't name shows no more, but this got to be named Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez. There it is, dog. There it is. Tony Gonzalez. Yeah. Hey, this is the you ain't shit.
Stop naming shows, dog. I gotta put it out there, dog. If you don't name the show Tony Gonzalez, dog, something wrong, dog.
Fuck you, motherfuckers.
They had that Tony Gonzalez out there. I'm like, wait a minute.
I think it's time for this nigga Anthony to go to sleep, nigga. Go to bed. Nigga.
All right.
Only thing been better is if you just said Anthony Gonzalez, dog. I would have been. I was going to turn my computer off, dog. I'd be like, it's time for me to go to bed too.
Oh shit.
Woo!
Oh, shit. Anyway, so
Tony Gonzalez, dog. God damn.
No, actually, yeah. My sentiments is Chiefs, Saints.
I can't stop laughing. My bad. I can't.
Yo, right?
Hey, to the fans of the show, I am drinking some Crown Apple Royal.
Oh, don't blame the alcohol.
Royal. Oh, don't blame the alcohol. Okay.
Blame it on the
Hey, hold on. Was that an R. Kelly feature?
Hell no.
Don't think that's what it.
No. Oh hell no.
Okay.
Nope.
Just want to make sure.
Write that shit. He's not on it. He didn't write it.
Hey, but
That's T-Pain, y'all. That's T-Pain.
It's T-Pain though, but like Frank was saying way earlier, dog. This nigga's produced a lot of songs. So like one time, like me and 88 was saying something, and I said, "What's the change?" Oh, I said, I don't mind," and then she was like, "Did R. Kelly sing that?" I was like, "God damn it, that nigga did."
Yeah, he did.
That nigga was a good live actual hook on that song, nigga. Like it was like he did
Changing Faces.
Yeah, he wrote it and produced it, but that nigga actually sang the hook on the song. And I was like, I can't even say that now.
All right, this is Chief talk, not R. Kelly talk.
My bad. It's time to go, dog. I think there's some analogies. Because motherfuckers been touched in both of them, man.
Oh! you coming for it though?
I'm gonna change my Twitter name to Tony Mongala's dog.
Oh shit! Dog.
That's gonna be my Twitter handle, nigga. Tony Mongala's dog.
Tony Mongala.
Man, fuck y'all.
All right, final verdict. What's gonna happen? We're gonna go around the table. We'll start off with Anthony. What do you think is gonna happen tomorrow with the Chiefs game? What is your prediction? Hello. Uh-oh.
You're fucking with Tony Mongala.
All right. So who's not on?
Must be Anthony.
Anthony, are you there?
He said you gotta go.
Winston. You don't see
Winston froze up too?
Yeah, he froze up too. Oh no, let's see. I'm gonna try to get him back. Hello, Anthony. Okay, so let me go add him. Did they go? Did they leave for real?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, so, wow, this show's gonna end kind of weird. Now I have to go back and edit this. So I guess let's see. Can we get these? We'll try. Let's see. If not, I guess me and Yo just close it out.
Nah, try to get him back and cut this part out.
Yeah. Hello?
Hey, I'm back, man. Tony Mongala's done them jokes, nigga, I guess.
All right. I guess he doesn't want the Chiefs to win or anything. We had technical difficulty. So we'll go with Winston. Winston, what is your prediction? What do you want? What's going to happen tomorrow?
Prediction? You know what? No, you know what? Prediction and what I wanted. I think the Chiefs win. I'm going to say shit like, I'm going to say 38.
Did you freeze? Did you freeze?
38. Just 38, nigga. That's all I'm gonna say is 38.
He fell off.
Yeah, he froze again.
Oh,
get your shit fixed, nigga.
Let's see. Yo.
Yo. Hey, what's happening?
All right, now we got.
Hey, can we close the show out?
Sorry,
Yeah, we
sorry,
can.
sorry.
So I said, I don't know if you ever said. I said I'm picking.
Hold
the
on.
Chiefs to win.
Winston, let's start over again. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. Winston, your turn.
I would say I picked the Chiefs 38-31. Chiefs.
All right, Anthony, what'd you think?
I would say Chiefs 45 40 41.
Damn.
All right, Joe.
High scoring game, man. High scoring game.
And you
That's
said
a
the Chiefs
shootout,
win?
boy.
Chiefs win? So we got 2 Chiefs
Chiefs
win.
45-41. Chiefs win. Mhm.
All right, Joe.
Well, I just want to say this kind of reminds me of 2015 with the Royals.
Ooh.
I remember watching them when they won the World Series, and I was like, man, please don't let them get Houston, and please don't let them get Toronto.
Mhm.
And they ended up playing against Houston, and they ended up playing against Toronto, and so they had to go
And
to
they
the
beat
toughest course, and they had to go to the toughest course to win. They beat both of them, went on to win the championship. So what I'm saying is, I've always been saying I don't want to see the Colts, and I don't want to see the Patriots. I think we're gonna end up beating the Colts this week and reverse the curse there, kind of like the 04 Red Sox did against the Yankees.
Mhm.
And then we're gonna go ahead and bring the Patriots on into Arrowhead, take care of business there, and see what happens in the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, you went all the way to the Super Bowl. All right.
Yeah, man. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Saints and Chiefs Super Bowl, man.
Me personally, I want the Chiefs to just win. I don't care how they win, just win. At this point, just win, because it's gonna be a part. It's gonna be a party in the Midwest, or at least here in this region. So,
Yeah, we can use it. We can use another parade. The parade was fun, man.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
Make a
about
sea
that.
of red instead of a sea of blue.
Yeah, I would not mind that at all, man.
Mhm.
So,
Wait, hold on. A sea of red, not a sea of blue. Okay.
yeah.
All right, that's been our show, folks. Not just playing. Roger, you there?
I'm still here, pimp. I'm here.
All right, man. That's it. We voiced our opinions, everything. We got it all out.
We voiced our opinions. All right, man. Hey, thank you, everyone. All love. New Year. We're gonna bring keep being consistent, bring more content to you. Cover the stories that everyone likes, that we like, that you love, and that's good, man. Yeah, it's good to be back, man. Thank everybody for giving their time for the show. As always, man, New Rockin' Podcast, I-70 Connect, man. All good. We got 10 meters in the house. We got Joe Jeff in the house. We got my man 30 Pieces in the house.
PS sauce.
I am the Casey Stork. Thank you for listening. And as always, enjoy the
Music.